What's going on, guys? It's Dan back again with a brand new video, and today I am going to be telling you about my experience and opinion of the Pokemon versus Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game. Now, if you're anything like me, of course you love Smash Bros, but there happens to be a different kind of love for trading card games because Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh were big parts of my life growing up, and besides just nostalgia, I learned more from those two games than I've learned in any real life video game. So with that being said, today I'm going to let you guys know what my opinion is of Pokemon, which one is better, Pokemon TCGO or Yu-Gi-Oh, the trading card game. So first things first, a little bit of backstory. Now, all of you guys know, obviously, I am a bit of casual trash when it comes to Smash Bros. I can't really get into the competitive scene. For me, it's something that I really enjoy to do. However, I really enjoy playing Super Smash Bros. I really love amiibo training, but when it comes to learning tech and getting deep into the game and blah blah blah, getting competitive, I have only been competitive playing one thing at a time. And for me, for over 10 years, it was competitive trading cards. So I never really got into Smash like maybe others have. But if you are a competitive Smash player, some of those same things that you love about Smash is in different trading card games. A competitive metagame scene, a big community that is very welcoming. I can definitely speak to both Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Depending on who you know playing those games, you can have an amazing experience or a very shitty experience. So that being said, let me just start off with the community. 1v1 the community, the Pokemon community versus the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Now, some of you here may be a party to either community, and the things that I have to say here, believe me, please understand that it is not generalized to both parties or one or the other party. And just because I say something about one particular group does not necessarily mean it's you, but just keep in mind that this is from my personal opinion that some of these groups have these things. Now, I'm gonna start off with the Pokemon trading card game group. Now, the Pokemon trading card game community is definitely a community where I would say there is lots of welcoming people, a lot of fun and interesting people, and the age range goes from small children to young adults, even older adults, I would say. In terms of being welcoming and willing to teach and trade and have fun with you, I would say the Pokemon trading card game community is, bar none, one of the nicest communities that I have ever had the pleasure of playing card games with. Now, let's just jump over to the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Now, the Yu-Gi-Oh community for me for a very long time was just my hometown group, was just a small handful of people who love to play Yu-Gi-Oh, and I would say it was amazing. Something comparable to the Pokemon TCG group. However, once I got into the mainstream Yu-Gi-Oh scene and got out to events and met people, it became a lot different. There was tons of arrogant, asshole-like players. There was tons of people who basically were like pretty snobbish playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And also there was lots and lots of card thieves. Now, not to say that it is so terrible that everybody should stay away and be afraid of Yu-Gi-Oh! No, not at all. But I found that a lot of those problems and issues always came from the older scene and the folks that were quote unquote more competitive. I would just say, in my personal opinion, that when you are going to play Yu-Gi-Oh, you need to watch your back, watch your friends' back, and also keep an eye on your stuff. The Yu-Gi-Oh community was great. Lots of great people. Some of my best friends still play Yu-Gi-Oh and are a part of that community. However, there are folks that I just didn't know that would come around and just make it a bad experience. So in terms of points for community, I want to give it to Pokemon TCG because I believe that the Pokemon TCG community is the best community for trading card games, next to Magic. But this is Pokemon versus Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the actual game. what's great about Pokemon and what's great about Yu-Gi-Oh? Now this is something I could probably talk for hours, but I'm probably only going to talk for a little while. So let's start off again with, let's start off this time with Yu-Gi-Oh, since we gave Pokemon the first round last time. Now with Yu-Gi-Oh, the actual game is very deep and complex now. There's many different ways to play, and in terms of creativity, there's always room for it. Of course, there is a metagame that can push the current competitive scene one way or another. However, just like in any trading card game, it's up to the players to innovate and make change. On top of that, you have the ability to use any cards you want from the beginning of the game all the way up until now, minus the limited and restricted cards, or the limited, restricted, and forbidden cards, which is updated on a, I want to say, semi-annually basis. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's mostly semi-annually. And the gameplay, let's just talk about that for a second. The gameplay of Yu-Gi-Oh is very fast-paced and is very skill-driven. There's a lot of things that are kind of automatic with different metagames and different strategies. However, Yu-Gi-Oh is a fast-paced game. It's something that you can sit down and play really quick and kind of keep it moving. Unlike a lot of other games, unlike the Pokemon trading card game. And with that, I would definitely say that the Yu-Gi-Oh game is very complex, and sometimes it can be a challenge to learn. But with the actual anime, it makes a smooth transition. A lot of folks who watch the anime are converted to become actual Yu-Gi-Oh players. That's how I started off. I watched anime, thought it was amazing, found out the cards were real, decided to play the game. Other folks are coming because their friends are inviting them, like I've done for many. But it is a challenge sometimes to if you are a competitive player, to teach someone the game, because you have silly stuff like bad translations, which result in erratas, and then you also have different texts and different texts and different play styles that people have to get used to become competitive. So that's with any trading card game, but I would say Yu-Gi-Oh has a slight high bar when it comes to that. Now let's just jump into the Pokemon TCG and talk about its ease and or difficulty to enter the game. Now, Pokemon trading card game to me is a very easy game to play. It has a very simple mechanic that's similar to Magic, where it has like a mana-based type system. However, it is a very simplistic way of playing, and in terms of learning the Pokemon trading card game and getting into the Pokemon trading card game, it is extremely easy. In terms of gameplay, the actual gameplay can be challenging, and it is a strategic game. However, in my personal opinion, it is a little bit slower than Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's a little bit slower than games like Magic even in some instances. Of course, you know, Pokemon can pick up the pace from time to time, and I would definitely say that I'm not faulting it for that at all. However, in my personal taste, I love a faster paced game, and it's like more like Pokemon is your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. Yu-Gi-Oh is my turn and it's your turn, and in between both turns we can fight against each other with our cards, similar to Magic in that respect. But on the Pokemon side, it's more of a your turn, my turn, pass back and forth type of thing, and I don't like being able not to respond to my opponent's cards. So for me, when it comes to gameplay, Yu-Gi-Oh is a much better game. Now let's talk about the biggest thing, the most important thing here, the price. What does it cost to play this game? Is it one of those games where it's basically pay to win? If you got the most money and can buy the most expensive deck, will you automatically just win the day? Or is it more of a game where you kind of need to just basically have a good understanding and knowledge of the game, and you can just come out victorious? Well, let's start off again here with Pokemon, since Yu-Gi-Oh was in our last one. Pokemon, the trading card game, to me has one of the best values in trading card games. You purchase a Pokemon booster pack and it comes with a digital code. You can play this game both online or offline, and offline of course meaning the actual paper cards. Now when you pay your $3.99 for a booster pack, you get an extra card online, which you argue that is not as worth as much as a $3.99 booster. However, you are getting a 2-for-1. So basically, if you were to break that down, it's $2 for the physical cards and $2 for the digital cards. And when you actually do that, there are different cards for each one. So you could have a digital collection that's different from your physical collection. And building most decks in Pokemon and most cards that I've seen individually on Pokemon are all ranging around the less than $1 all the way up to, I think the highest Pokemon card that's just around most of the time is $15. A lot of the cards for Pokemon aren't that expensive if you want to build a deck. Of course, being a 60 card deck, prices can add up very quickly. However, for Pokemon, it is very, very, very cheap to play that game. So let's just talk a little bit about Yu-Gi-Oh here. Now, Yu-Gi-Oh to me is one of the most expensive games ever. Just because when certain cards become famous or certain cards become metagame winning or something like that, it can actually go from a $0 card, a $5 card, all the way up to a $100 card based off of rarity. It is crazy sometimes to see how expensive Yu-Gi-Oh cards can be. Back when I was playing, cards like Royal Decree, Black Luster Soldier, Yatagarasu, and Chaos Emperor Dragon were some of the most expensive cards, coming in around $100 each. And Royal Decree was even more than that because it was a tournament pack card. So Royal Decree came out around $150, $120, $300, depending on where you found it and who had it. It was one of the most expensive experiences that I did have. However, I was pretty good at making strong trades back in the day and always making sure I got full value for every single card I had. So as a poor dude playing Yu-Gi-Oh, as you guys will probably already know, growing up, I did not have a lot of money. However, I did have a core set of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I was always trading in and out for new and old cards. And as I continued to build decks and have cards, I would continue to get the new cards, regardless of how much they cost, the rarities. But it would always take me a lot more time to get those cards than anyone else, because I would always have to trade or sell or something, because I was not able to buy a box because I didn't have that much money. So to me, going on price alone, Pokemon knocks it out of the park, because with Pokemon, you get 2-for-1 digital and online, plus you get tons of bonuses and perks from just playing the game online for free. You can get lots of packs online for free. And when you are purchasing stuff like collector stands and anniversary sets, you get that digital pack that comes with so many more goodies. So to me, on a monetary sense, Pokemon is the cheapest game and the best game to play if you are on a budget and want to play trading card games. Now, in the end, you want to know here my big opinion. What is the better game, Yu-Gi-Oh or the Pokemon trading card game? Well, guys, you're gonna have to catch that in a part 2 video, because that's not just a theory, it's a game theory. Thanks for the ad revenue. Just kidding. My choice for the actual #1 trading card game between Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh is Yu-Gi-Oh. It's not because I have a huge nostalgia boner for it. It is because, in my personal opinion, when I play Yu-Gi-Oh, I do feel the power of the actual anime flowing through the cards. There is no experience I could say that is comparable to watching an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh and watching your favorite characters duel with some of the cards you have, if not no cards that you have, and then you go right out to either battle an opponent that has those same cards, or you go to use those cards yourself and you feel just as powerful as those people that you have watched on the show. And if you are a person that does not watch the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, but you still enjoy the card game for the challenge and competitive scene, I would definitely say that's another thing. Yu-Gi-Oh has tons and tons of different varieties of decks you can play because it allows you to play old cards. And I think that cycling cards out pack after pack after pack is just a way for companies to make more money. I don't think that, quote unquote, eliminating card sets is the way to go in any trading card game. It's fun to play Yu-Gi-Oh because I can go back and play a card that I used to play 10 years ago in a deck that I'm playing currently. I love Yu-Gi-Oh for that reason, guys. And you can let me know in the comment section below, do you play card games? If so, what card games do you play? And if you play Yu-Gi-Ohs, my boys, I need you to expand that Millennium Dong on the like button and go ahead and let me know what game you play in the comment section below. And of course, as always, if you like what you heard, you can click right down below to get expanded.